Hey there, guys. Welcome to the first episode of Chirp Talk. We have here with us an amazing DJ slash producer all the way from Sweden. Please welcome Christoffer Földes. Hey there, man.
Hey, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a really big fan of podcasts overall. Like I listen to them all the time. So it's amazing to be the guest.
I love podcasts as well. They're so informative and they're fun to listen to, basically.
Yeah, they are like really compared. I really love books and everything, but compared to books and yeah, it's just it's so at the moment. It's not something that's written a year ago, 2 year ago, something like that. That needs to be that you need to check and do all these steps before releasing it. This is just something that's up and running
Yeah,
directly.
yeah. This just exactly you hit
Yeah,
record and then boom, you can send it
exactly.
over.
It's super fresh,
It's
and
that
I
easy.
think the guests as well. They don't overthink everything. So it's very spontaneous, and
Exactly.
you can hear a lot of stuff that you wouldn't hear in a audiobook or a yeah, physical book
Yeah,
overall.
exactly. And for guys and girls who don't know, Christopher Foles is an amazing producer. He has had releases on huge labels such as Hexagon, PK Music, Glory Records, Alveda Music. He's such an amazing DJ and producer. So right off the bat, Christopher, I just want to ask you, how has your musical journey been so far? I mean, we know that we are seeing results from you. You are getting placed in such huge labels, Hexagon, PK Music, and so many other record labels. But how has the journey been on you personally?
Yeah, so it's been a pretty long journey. I started 13 years ago now. So in 2007, I started with DJing, um, and then for like the first couple of years, I was super into just the DJing thing. I was reading all the books I could find about it. I was reading on forums. I checked like a bunch of videos, studied what like the successful artists or the successful DJs actually, what they were doing, and yeah, all that. And I was really like inspired by at that time in Sweden. It wasn't like house music there wasn't like a really big DJ culture in that sense. Like it came a couple of years later when Avicii and Swedish House Mafia, Alesso, yeah, all those guys when they blew up. So at the time I started, there wasn't really the DJs wasn't that. Yeah, they didn't do like this in Sweden. I think we didn't really see them. Maybe just a couple of them, but otherwise it wasn't like a main stage like festival thing in that sense. So I was more inspired by like how to read a room properly and like really good resident DJs and yeah.
And that's so amazing, man. I mean, you have seen the whole culture, the whole dance music culture grow from nothing, from scratch to this huge scene that it has grown today. Yeah, producers and musicians from Sweden are known globally. Just like you said, just like you mentioned, Avicii and Swedish House Mafia. They both of them are such huge influences on this whole music genre that I mean, it's unimaginable to think of EDM without these two. So it's so amazing that you have seen the whole music scene grow from scratch to what it is today. And talking about inspiration, so let's say if you were to remember that one artist, or maybe just a few bunch of artists that motivated you to do music, who were they, or what musicians did you get inspiration from at your earliest stage?
Yeah, so at that time I wasn't into production yet. Um, as I said, it was mostly I was just
Okay.
I was DJing and I was really inspired by guys like, for example, Roger Sanchez for the DJing. Um, and also
Roger
at
Sanchez,
that point, one guy
classics.
that I like really, I studied some stuff from him, and if I thought he was really cool, was DJ AM. He was like a open format DJ,
Okay.
and he was really good on the decks, and an American guy. Uh, so that's the kind of influences I had at that time.
Okay.
People who were really good at the DJing skill, and as I said, like could read a room properly. Um, yeah,
Exactly. You have to read your crowd. You have to read your
yeah,
room properly
exactly. And
to
then
do a
over the
good set.
years, I didn't really get into production until like 2013, where when I really started producing
Okay.
regularly.
Okay.
I was really inspired by the sound of Kryder and
Hmm.
Tom Starr for a couple of years. I think, yeah, the groove
The
house
classic
kind of
groove
sound. I
sound.
was really into that in maybe 2000,
Yeah.
2014, 2015, 2016 as well, I think. For a couple of years, that kind of sound and those artists were really big for me. Um,
Yeah, man. For me personally, I when I started out, I got inspired by many huge artists. They have had the most impact on me.
mm,
For example, Afrojack. I really loved how the techie sounds of Afrojack sounded like back then. And then for DJing, I
yeah,
always used to look up to Tomorrowland, sets from Tomorrowland. And David Guetta used to inspire me a lot. So yeah, these two names are prolific. These two names are, I think, these two artists are some of the only artists that have inspired me
oh,
so much
nice.
that I got into music.
Yeah, both of them have been in the game for a long time now as well,
Exactly, they have been in the games for so long. Well, also
especially
for
David Guetta.
yeah, exactly. David Guetta's basically old right now,
But it's really
but
it's
he's
impressive
absolutely
how David Guetta, Tiesto, and all those guys have been in the game for so long, and actually they have been like on the top and constantly putting out tracks and
yeah,
go through
exactly,
these different trends and everything, but they've still been like on the top level without like
absolutely.
really
Every
getting out
time they
of it.
put out, yeah, every time they put out a track, they're hitting the charts. Also, follow-up question to that previous question. Do you listen to like other kinds of music, any other kind of genres that you listen to apart from EDM?
Yeah, definitely. To be honest,
Yeah.
um, I don't. I play like I do between 2 and 4 gigs at like a week. At the
Uh,
moment, it's
yeah.
of course. Uh, at the moment, I only do like lounge sets in the weekends because of the
Oh,
Corona situation, and
yeah.
nobody are allowed to dance.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I play like 4 gigs, 3 or 4 gigs a week. So
Okay.
I'm. I don't really listen to that much EDM overall, uh,
Oh,
except
wow.
from when I'm at the gym or if
Okay.
I really like, if I go through promos and I go crate digging and stuff. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
I mainly listen to all kind of other music. I'm I'm into like I really like jazz, for example, blues.
Okay, blues. Yeah, I absolutely love
Yeah,
the blues as well.
I'm a fan of that, and
That's cool.
that's following up to yeah, further down the road. For example, I was
Yeah,
really happy that
I was
yeah.
about to say that. Yeah.
We got this amazing blues singer on it, an Irish guy, and
Jay Fitz,
also
right?
yeah, and then for the
Yeah.
saxophone we had a friend of mine, Daniel
Okay.
Seidocher, who is like
Oh,
an incredible saxophonist,
wow.
a jazz saxophonist. So when I can, I actually I like to go and listen to like live music. Uh, and I go
That's a
with my grandpa actually to
Oh, okay.
he's the one that actually introduced me to jazz, and he's really
Wow.
into it. So we was doing this like maybe we don't do it this often anymore, but a couple of years ago we went for like at least once a month we went for some kind of jazz concert.
Wow, that is so amazing. And well, if Christopher Földes is not touring or making music, what is he doing to kill time?
I don't. Yeah, it's funny because I never use the word "kill time."
Okay.
I don't like that word because
Oh, okay.
if I do something,
My
it's
bad.
if I'm not working or if I do something like only for pleasure, it's
Okay.
something I how do you say you it's like then I treat myself with something.
Okay. Okay. So I
Say
understand.
if I for example watch a movie on a Sunday evening,
Yeah.
it's not something I do to kill the time, and uh, yeah, it's something that I treat myself with.
You're rewarding
Yeah,
yourself for the hard work that you've done. That's an interesting thought,
yeah,
actually. That's
that's
an
how
int-
I see
that's an interesting thought. I have to rethink my
it.
life.
But then to actually answer your question,
Yeah.
when I'm not working, I've always been involved in sports in some way, so I go to the gym like yeah four times a week. I go and train. Um, so that's something I do. I also uh, my girlfriend and her two dogs are around a lot.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, I really like taking like long walks, and if I have like a full day off or something, I'm really down to just
Mm.
go out in the nature somewhere and have a long walk, and yeah,
It really helps to, refresh the mind,
100%.
really helps to reset all that stress you have pent up.
Yeah, I love long walks.
So
A
that's
lot of
that really
times I
helps.
just when I start to overthink a lot, it's really hard to go away
Yeah.
from the studio or whatever project you're working on. It could be whatever. But then when
Yeah.
you go, for example, for me, when I go to the gym or when I'm out just taking a long walk, I'm just overthinking it, and it's not that big of a
Okay.
deal that I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, exactly. But perhaps sometimes it's not that big of a deal, and
No.
we realize that later.
Yeah,
That's
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 something.
true.
For
That's
example,
true.
when you produce music, you could sit there and
Yeah.
you hear like the snare in another track, and you're like, "Wow, this is so amazing." And you don't like your own snare. You sit there for an hour trying to like find the right
Replicate
sound,
that. Yeah.
shape the sound, whatever, and then you just go away, come back, and you play the track, and you almost forget that you were working on that snare because it feels alright, but at that time it feels horrible.
Horrible. I totally relate to that. Yeah. By the way, guys, if you have not already, listen to Further Down the Road by Folds, Jay Fitz, and Kim Carell. It's released on Hexagon. It's so amazing, man. I absolutely love the tune. It's on repeat. Literally, it's on repeat on my playlist. And
Thank you so
by the
much.
way, yeah, man. By the way, talking about Kim Carell, you've also worked with Kim on, I guess, the Summer on You remix by Sam Felt and Lucas and Steve, right? So yeah,
I
yeah,
was hoping
I,
that you
I,
wouldn't mention that.
I did my digging. So, but seriously, how is it like working with Kim?
I'm really I'm really happy that both me and Kim have improved a lot since that.
No, but it sounds cool though. You say that, but it sounds cool to me at
I
least.
don't think actually me and Kim were we're joking about that bootleg or remix we did. I think it was
Okay.
for some kind of remix competition or something. It
Yeah,
was
yeah, it was for a remix
I
competition. You're
think
right.
it was around 2015, 2016 or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
but yeah, we we're not very happy about it. Kim and me, we actually met. Uh, yeah, we met just before that remix. Actually, we took
Wow.
an both of us took an online course, uh, uh,
Okay.
or actually online program uh, called Cosmic Academy.
Okay. This Hexagon release is your second collaboration with Kim, right?
Yeah, the other one wasn't. Yeah,
But yeah, but look at you guys. This is only your second collaboration. You already landed on Hexagon, so it's a remarkable progress.
yeah. The
Props to you
Summer On
guys.
remix. Yeah, we have already forgot about that remix, but
Come
but
on.
anyway, uh, yeah, Kim and me we met through a online program called Cosmic Academy in
Okay.
2016, so 4 years ago now. Um,
Oh,
and then we did
wow.
that remix just for fun, a remix competition, which sounds horrible today, but yeah. Anyway, to be honest, we live. It's around 300 or maybe 250 kilometers. We live from each other,
Okay.
so we don't meet that often in real life. Um,
Okay. Okay. So things happen digitally or
no,
online.
actually, for further down the road, we have mainly worked in real life. So we,
Oh,
what's
okay.
funny is that we actually started like the really first version of further down the road. We started the first
Yeah.
time we met in real life, which was in I
Oh,
think in May
wow.
2017.
It's such a noble track. Wow.
No, yeah, but if
You
yeah,
guys have worked so hard on this.
but it's totally different. Like I don't think we have anything at all from that first version. It just
Okay.
because it was like we met each other at that point, and then maybe we met each other half a year later, and we continue
Yeah.
working on it. So
Yeah.
every time we met, we just reworked the whole thing, and it
Okay.
started out like a it started out like a tribal. I think we was like inspired by Will K or something at that point. I think
Okay.
Cafe Leche. Do you remember that track?
Yeah. I do.
So
That
we
was
were working on
amazing.
the drums a lot in the beginning, but then yeah, next time we met, it took another shape, and so yeah, it was. But over time, it started to develop a bit, and then we got the saxophonist on it, and after that the
Yeah.
singer as well, and we started to see each other more often. Worked a little bit digital as well, sending it back and forth
Okay.
to finish it up.
Well, it all turned out pretty well. So, I mean, hats off to that effort.
Yeah, we are both like very grateful for and we're like super happy and satisfied with how it came out in the end. But it was a uh, pretty long journey with that track.
That's a bad man. And well, there are a lot of producers that are emerging in the house music scene right now, and thanks to labels like Hexagon and Future House Music. Shout out to you, both of you guys. You guys are doing amazing. And others who are really like other record labels as well, who really support talented producers who are earnest in doing their work. So, do you have any such, rising artists in your mind that you think is absolutely killing it in the scene right now?
Yeah, I have a couple of guys in my surrounding, people uh, that I met, for example, in Amsterdam during the Amsterdam dance event. Uh, One of them is, for example, I don't know if you would still call him like an upcoming artist, but Mr. Sid, for example. Do you know him?
Okay. I know. I've heard about
Yeah,
him.
he released on all the big labels and get like support
Yeah.
from the big guys, but he still
Yeah.
hasn't had like he don't get these main stage big shows yet, but he will definitely
Yeah.
be there very soon, and he deserves it.
So, well, what are your plans for the future, mate? What are you planning to like? I have to definitely achieve
I
this.
had lots of goals when 2020 started, but I actually rewrote them because of this Corona situation. So every goal I
Okay.
had about like uh, that was gig related, like
Okay.
having these festivals, gigs and stuff. I just I rewrote them and focused
Okay.
on the production instead, and had
Hmm.
goals related to releases instead of gigs, because that's not in my control at the moment.
It's not in your. It's not. Nobody knows when all of this is going to end. But yeah, we can just keep on
Mhm.
being positive. And yeah, guys and girls, be positive in this whole mess. This all of this is going to be over pretty soon. We're going to party
Yeah,
once again.
but uh, but one goal I had was to, so in the beginning of the year, one goal I
Okay.
had was to get on a for me like a major EDM label,
Okay.
um, and that was and then I got signed to Hexagon, which
Hexagon.
felt amazing. That was that's my first, like, I've
Like,
released on good
like,
labels before.
yeah.
Shout out to Glory Records, for example. I had a couple of releases on Glory, for example,
Yeah.
and they do an amazing job, and I'm
Yeah.
really happy about
Absolutely.
it. But then, yeah, to be on Hexagon was like next level for me.
Next level. Yeah.
And
It's like a big break. Like you exploded into the next
yeah,
level.
yeah, especially yeah for releases, that was a big breakthrough for me. But
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
now I had, instead of just one release on a major EDM label, my goal for 2020 is to
Yeah.
have another big release on a major
Yeah.
EDM label as
That
well. So that's something I'm working on.
we're pretty sure that you're going to achieve that as
I
well.
really hope so, but
Yeah. Hope on you.
yeah, like, there are so many talented producers, and for example, the
That's
releases
so
on
true, man.
Hexagon are amazing, and it's so many great.
Yeah. I'm surprised by how each and every release is so dope.
Yeah,
Each and
speaking
every one
about
of
that,
them.
for the question you asked before, I'm super sure that a
Yeah.
lot of these names, for example, there's this guy called Alva Gracia, who released, I think he released the same week as
Yeah.
me on one of the other Hexagon labels, um, for example. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he will. I'm pretty sure he will have other big releases planned soon as well, and so
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so
I
much
think
talent there, and there will definitely be like a lot of upcoming artists that you can hear through the different
that's
Hexagon
true, man.
labels.
Yeah, man. That's true. I think you're absolutely right. So, well, do you have like, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to ask you this, but if you have any like teasers or like sneak peeks you want to share with us, it doesn't have to be like you want to play music, but just a little teaser that, yeah, I have this planned and you can expect it to come out soon or stuff like that.
Okay, so I have actually, for the this summer, I have a remix coming out on Glory Records for
Okay.
the label boss V Brondi.
Wow, that's
He's
huge.
his track So Far Apart is an amazing track. So and I love that vocal. So yeah, I was pleased when he asked me to remix it. And then I have I hope, he hasn't really said a release date yet, but I hope that will be out in July. So
Okay.
keep an eye on that.
Of
And
course,
then I
man.
have a remix EP of my own track that was released earlier this year, called More to
Okay.
Love.
Yeah, more to love.
The original is more like a classic progressive house track, like
Yeah.
Alesso, Calvin Harris, yeah, that kind of vibe. Um, but I got two really good remixes in that remix EP that I will release as well. I think
Okay.
I will have that released in in August sometimes. Hopefully in the beginning
Okay.
of August.
That's
Um,
so cool. Chirp Talk exclusive, guys. Chirp Talk exclusive. We're not sure when it's going to release, but you guys and girls heard it here first.
and I have a couple of other tracks that are like
Okay.
90%, 95% there. I have
Okay.
one track that is 100% there. I don't really know in what order I want those releases.
Okay.
I'm thinking about that a bit, but I have, I actually have, nobody have heard it yet, but I have a really cool, another saxophone house track.
Okay.
Um, it's a little bit more up tempo, or actually it's in the same tempo, but it's a little bit heavier than further down the
Ah.
road.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but it's super groovy and cool, and it's a
Wow.
collaboration between me and two other really talented producers, Martin
Wow.
Eriksson, that I've been another Swedish guy that I've been working with a lot, and Adam Marcos as well. He has released
Okay.
on lots of labels, Glory, Peak Hour, yeah, a bunch of them.
Yeah. That's
So
so cool, man.
hopefully, I think my intention is that to be the next single,
Okay. So you're hoping for a next
my next
single.
original
Okay.
single.
That's
We
cool.
just have some final tweaks to do, so hopefully it will come out good.
Well, all the best to you. We're definitely pumped up for listening to more of your stuff about that remix EP and the remix for V Brondy and all the other amazing stuff. So,
Oh, thank you.
well, well, I think we can wrap it up here. So, I really thank you again for being here with us. Thank you so much for for your cooperation, for your time. It has been such an amazing talk. So
Yeah.
one last thing I want to ask you is that
Mm.
of course a lot of producers are going to listen to this. So if you have any tip, something that you want to share with them, is there a message that you want to say?
Yeah. So I think especially for starting artists, I think don't just watch a bunch of YouTube videos and read books and everything. Make
Yeah,
sure you actually start producing and work in your DAW, whatever your choice is. But um, make sure you actually spend time and working on it. For me, I regret that I didn't really start making music earlier. I had this
yeah,
mindset that I needed to know like a lot of stuff before I even started. So I knew a lot of stuff in theory, but I had no
okay,
practical experience at all with it. So I read a lot of books, I watched tutorials, whatever, but I didn't really
yeah,
spend time making my own music. So if I would start over, I would allow myself more to just play around and instead of trying to know everything before you start, I would like suggest that if you find something you struggle with, go and check out
yeah,
some kind of answer on that. Check out a video about that, or read an article or something about that uh, subject. But start, and also listen to podcasts. Yeah, especially when it comes to like the music industry and everything around that. It's so helpful to get the perspectives from successful artists um,
yeah.
that have been in the scene for a long time and know how it
That's true.
actually works. And they, a lot of them,
Exactly.
give like really good advices about that, and you can hear about their experiences and their mistakes and everything. And
Yeah,
I think that's super important. It's almost like you have some kind of it's a kind of, if you find the right podcast, it's almost like you
Yeah,
have some kind of mentor with you. Uh,
that's true. And it's absolutely free to listen to. So how amazing is that?
exactly. I think you can
Exactly.
apply a lot of the stuff in your own life and in your own career that you
That's
actually
true.
hear in these podcasts.
And yeah,
So
I
that's
think
yeah,
what I think what you said pretty much wraps up my own intention behind starting my talk show, my podcast, because that's what my original intention was. I wanted to spread my message to more and more people by connecting them with artists, like huge artists like you, sharing your story with them. They can learn exponentially. And well, yeah, so that's pretty much the ideology behind me starting this talk show. I want to help more artists achieve their dreams as much as I want. Wait, people say that we're a record label, but I just see ourselves as an artist helping community. That's all we are. Honestly, that's all we are.
that's really beautiful. I just for yeah, for all of you, we had, it feels really bad that I've been talking about myself now for a long time. It feels a little
That's
bit weird
fine.
because that's not really the kind of conversation I really like, just talking about myself. But for your knowledge,
Okay.
we had a really good chat before the interview, and I was able to ask you like a lot of stuff, and it's really amazing to it feels really amazing to see your passion for the music, the EDM scene overall, and what you try to do with your label, what you try to bring to others, not thinking about yourself. It's
Thank you,
wonderful.
man.
It's beautiful to see.
Thank you so much, man. Those were really kind words. I'm almost on the verge of tears right
No,
now.
no, no, no.
but 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 really, really, thank you so much, man. That's so kind of you. And well, guys and girls, you've heard him. Podcasts are important. So listen to our podcast, subscribe to us, follow us, and do follow Folds. We'll leave out all his social media links in our description. Do follow him. He's such an amazing artist. Listen to his new track. Well, I guess that's about it for the podcast.